Hi, welcome to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, and I'm Dee, and I have one friend today, which is Theta. Hi, Theta.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
Great, excellent.
Wow, we're here on Friday night.
I know.
It's been a long time.
Yes, yes, it has.
I miss Friday nights.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Well, we're here to share all the good information, and actually, we were supposed to do this particular show sometime in February, but it just didn't work out. So we're going to do it now, and it's going to be all about heart disease.
Yes, it is.
But last week we had a really interesting show,
Yes, we did.
and we were talking about lupus and diabetes,
Yes, we did.
and we had some very good guests on, and actually we did their show on Saturday, and I know you all must have missed it, so you need to look at it and check us out because it was good, and everybody needs to know about it because we know all our people know about have somebody that has diabetes or lupus or something on that order.
Which is on
So
the rise on men.
it has been. It has been. So, so how you been?
I've
Before
been
we get
good.
into our heart disease.
I've been good.
You've been
Really
good?
yeah.
You're
Try to stay
looking-
warm. try to stay
Okay.
warm.
Yeah, the snow. I'm so over the snow, aren't we? It's like everybody's saying enough of the snow and the
Yes.
cold weather. And it's actually the clocks are going back this week.
Sunday.
Sunday,
Sunday,
yeah,
I think.
Sunday
Sunday
morning, right. So that means it's time coming, and we're already in March, and we're still having snow.
I know.
Now, no bueno, as they say, right? But life's good,
Yes, it is.
and we're going to just keep on moving and keep ourselves strong so that we can just get better and live better and feel better.
Exactly.
And you're just getting younger and younger when I see you.
oh, thank you.
Oh, you're
so
welcome.
are you.
Oh, well, yeah, you're a little younger than me anyway. But what's happening is since we've been doing that toxic cleanse, I think we just, we're getting to our prime, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, the toxic cleanse, because we're cleansing our cells out, allows the bioactive, the MAX, to enter our cells more freely, and it works better.
Yeah, it's been working really good. And actually, my age, because we haven't been talking about our AGE scanner in a long time, but my age has now gone from what? I was running 50s or so, but my actual age is, my chronological age is what, 58. But I'm now running about 30 something. And everybody's
Oh,
like thinking
great.
that I'm in my 30s. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Life's good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And I know you. Have you been scanned recently?
No, I haven't been scanned in a while.
Well, maybe we'll do that before we leave today,
Okay.
after we talk about heart disease.
Yes,
And we
most
might have to talk about it a little bit because it's so massive. I
Yes.
was looking at it and I was like, wow, there's a lot of information about heart disease. And that's actually, they say it's the number one killer for men and women.
yes.
Men and women. You know, it's like women and men are afflicted with this. And even younger people, you're talking, I've heard that people in their, teens have been suffering because people are eating so badly, and what heart disease is involving, it's what your heart's not functioning properly. They say the atherosclerosis, sometimes you get that plaque,
Right.
fatty deposits, and makes your arteries all hard and what have you. And then they have all kinds of other different things, but that's the coronary heart disease, and then you have arrhythmias and valve issues, and then they have oh gosh, I wrote all this other stuff. It's like heart muscle disease, pericardial disease.
Osteoporosis.
What is it?
Osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis. It's like so many different things that they have the heart attack. Then that's because some kind of blockage. Then you have your strokes.
Right.
So it's kind of like so scary. Recently, they had the funeral of the ball player. He was 48 years old. What is his name? He played for the Knicks. Oh gosh.
Oh, yes. I know him. I met him a couple of times in a club. Can't think of what his name is. Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason, actually.
Yeah, I met him.
Someone calling for the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Appreciate Well, Anthony Mason, he just passed away, and apparently I actually know his cousin. He and his cousin actually joined the business with us.
Oh, good.
On Monday.
Oh, great.
And he shared the fact that, his cousin had some issues and was supposed to be having a pacemaker.
Wow.
And he never did.
Oh.
And lifestyle and what have you. When you have things going on, you're supposed to change your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Because if you want to live a healthier life, and not die prematurely.
Exactly.
You got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's what people fail to do. They're not doing the right thing by changing that lifestyle and putting the right things into their body and exercising or what have you, just so that they can have a better functioning heart.
Right.
Because I know my grandmother, and I always talk about grandma, I can't help that. She lived a very good life, but she ended up with carotid artery disease.
Wow.
And what happened was, not that she ate very fresh foods and what have you, but after, I guess, 100 years, well, she was only about 90, 95 or so when they discovered the carotid artery disease. But what happened was, because probably the oils, and someone was telling me actually, we know who, Body Mechanic. He was telling me about the bad oils, and he shared about the canola oil, and that's like the most popular oil out there right now.
Yeah, I don't even use that. I haven't used that
But
in
a
years.
lot of people don't know.
No, right.
It's advertised as being very good for you, so, but it's a fake
It's like
oil.
a half truth.
It's not really even half true.
I know.
It's so not true. So basically it's rancid already. It's already been like refined and it's unidentified.
Yeah, you can't really digest it. It's not really
Well,
good
your
for
body, it's one of those synthetic things, It's really synthetic. Your body's not going to at all recognize it,
Right.
okay? But what happens is it's so bad. So you have to be really careful. And okay, we know we're not supposed to really fry our foods. We know
you're not supposed to at all.
okay, but if you're going to put some oil
Coconut
in it,
oil.
coconut oil, or even olive oil is good.
I did some research on that, and they said that you shouldn't.
You cook it at
Do
high.
it.
No, you should not cook it,
At
but
high-
but you can't. You can use it as a substitute. Like just if you're going to do a quick stir fry, over a certain amount.
Yeah, but you can't
do
fry it. You shouldn't fry with it.
Well, no, you really shouldn't heat it.
Yeah.
You should just use it as a base
Right.
when you're just throwing it onto your foods or what have you. So it
shouldn't be
it's
heated.
No, you really shouldn't heat it because it does break down and give you certain byproducts that you don't really want. So and that's all leading to heart disease. So we kind of went past what we were talking about. So let's come back a little bit.
Well, I want to say that a couple of years ago, I went to my doctor, and he was just listening. Now, all the doctors I've been to in the past have never done this before, and so he says, "I want you to go see a cardiologist." I said, "For my heart? Why?" He said, "Because I hear something." I said, "All these other doctors, why are you saying that you hear something?" So it turns out that I was born with a heart murmur, with a small hole in my heart.
Right.
So he says, you never, walk and be out of breath? I said, I just thought I had to just strengthen my cardiovascular system, because that's why a lot of people in the gym, they have to strengthen their cardiovascular system so that it be stronger. And so I just figured that that's what I had to do. He says, no, he says, you have to be careful.
Well, you know what? Now that you mention, I have also a heart murmur. And they discovered that I had surgery when I was a youngster, probably, in high school. And I had surgery, and they discovered this heart murmur. And I noticed especially when I'm heavier, and I overexert myself, I get these like little palpitations. And you know what? I really didn't associate it with the heart murmur. And
Well, that's
now
what the
that you're
doctor
just
said.
talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Because I actually went to the doctors at one point, and they did a monitor, but they couldn't find anything wrong.
Right.
You know, nothing substantial. And now I'm thinking, that's what, you know, because it's like a flutter. And only when I overexert
Exert
myself,
yourself, right.
and it's only, I can't reproduce it, you know, not at all times, you know. So I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Yes.
All that time.
So that's why we have to, our eating, I mean, because we have these kind of problems, we have to do something proactive so we don't have to alleviate it, I mean, to aggravate it.
Right, exactly. Well, that's why we did what we did, you know. Well, and that's why we've been doing what we've been doing in terms of having our healthy way of life and supplements that are going to help your heart, help your body, inflammation, keep that inflammation out, and what have you. So we've been using,
Something happened.
Are we
Wait a minute.
still on? Something is going on. Okay. So, because we were looking at ourselves, and I don't know whether we are talking or not, but
Right.
the screen is like totally blank, you know? Oh, there we are.
go.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe we should look at ourselves. Maybe they need to turn that off, because then we won't know that if we're not on, we just talking and we'll have a good time. Well, live show. That's what happens.
Yes,
you know.
life happens.
But anyway, that distracted me a little bit. But okay, now I understand. I have a little challenge. I always have something, you know. It's like autoimmune. I have this, I have that, you know. Hey, hypertension. But you know what? After we have done with all, and that's actually part of the reason sometimes when with heart disease, they say atherosclerosis is one of the major things, and then also hypertension has actually been one of the major causes of heart disease. So I know I had high blood pressure for such a long time, okay?
And that's part of it too.
Yeah.
And weight.
Yes, and the weight and what have you. But recently, since I have this weight, I actually was halving my blood pressure medicine. And at this
Okay.
point, I haven't actually even been on it. And
Wow.
yeah, so I
Congratulations.
will be, I'm off officially when I go to the doctor on the 12th.
Oh, beautiful.
But I feel really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So do I.
you
I
know,
feel like $1 million.
yeah,
I'm gonna tell
yeah.
you.
Well, you look like a billion bucks here. You know?
So do you.
Yeah.
So do you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I still got a little ways to go. I'm still working it. But it's coming, and I feel good. This is like the best thing since I have been dieting, you know, because this is no longer a diet. This is going to be
Right.
my
It's a
new lifestyle,
lifestyle.
you know, and that's what you have to really do. You have to change your life, you know, and that's what, you know, when you have been diagnosed with certain diseases and challenges and what have you, you really have to make that effort to change your body, to change your lifestyle so that you can live that healthiest, longer life. I want to be 101 like my grandma, but just like my grandma, you know, with the heels and the whole bit, and just, you know, wearing the makeup and going and standing up straight and just feeling good about yourself.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
you know.
That's what it's all about. That's
Well,
what it starts in.
Yeah, exactly. But the only problem is what happened was she did end up with a stroke because she got exposed to certain things, you know, and because probably the carotid artery was blocked, because that's where you get strokes. They said you will not have the blood flow to your brain in terms of
Yeah, that causes the stroke when you don't have the blood flow to
right.
your brain.
Yeah, so you have two types of strokes. What is it?
Someone had told me, but I don't remember.
Well, I know there's two types of strokes. One that is, and I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't remember either. And maybe later on I'll remember. But I know there's two types of strokes. But I don't know what kind she had. I just know that she must have had a blockage, and they say that you have to have a very quick, what is it? Somebody has to really when you have a stroke, have that medication
Quickly,
or
something
very
to
quickly,
bounce
to
bounce it
bounce
back.
back. You know, because once you have it and you don't get treated right away, you know,
And you have problems.
it's going to be a challenge. Yeah. So, you know, and it's all about the blockages and with the heart, with the brain and what have you, and it all works together. So that's that cardiovascular whole disease in the system. So you got to be really, really very, very proactive with your body. And well, you have something to share about it?
Yeah, well, I heard that we have different types of cardio artery disease, which is systemic.
Right.
Heart diseases. We have cardiomyopathy, which is disease of the cardio muscle. We have hypertensive heart disease, which is the disease of the heart, and is second to the it's second to highest of blood pressure when you have hypertension.
Right, right.
Also, heart failure, is when your pulmonary heart disease is a failure at the right side of the heart.
Right.
And also,
Well, that's also, well, when it's pulmonary, it would be more consistent of all your respiratory and what have you. And you know, Cheryl, my cousin,
yes,
they thought that was what happened to her.
Oh, really?
Pulmonary, yeah. And you know, it's so insidious, okay? Because what happens is you don't know that you are like
susceptible to it.
Yes, because you can be walking around and have no symptoms, or you're not recognizing the symptoms.
Right.
You know, you may have a little headache, or you may have some kind of, you know, stomach ache, because they say it can be in your abdominal, or you may have some quick loss of breath or what have you, but you never really know why.
Yeah, that's
what's
like
going
even
on.
with a stroke, you just all of a sudden, you know, there's been times where my lip may twitch or something, but it could be just nerves. I'm like, wait a minute. My mind just immediately goes, am I having a stroke?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because you don't know.
Yeah, you really can't tell. So you really have to know your body and really be proactive to listen to your body, because a lot of people don't listen, unfortunately, to your body. You know, it's like all of a sudden you're just like, okay, let's ignore it.
Right.
And
And that's where the problem is. When people ignore stuff, oh, I thought I was okay, but no. You have to be proactive.
Yeah, you definitely, because I know I have ignored things in the past, and then it turned into something worse.
else.
And I know when my dad, he had hypertension for forever. Okay.
Wow.
And ultimately, he didn't notice the signs, and I got him to a doctor, and I think he was 200 over, like, let's say 100 something, you know, and you're talking, it was stroke. He could possibly had a stroke any time. Ultimately, he started on medication, but he had gone too far because he had already damaged his kidneys. You know, he didn't have heart disease at that point, but he did have, you know, other damages, you know, and that is actually all part of that cardiovascular system, you know. So he ended up having to, you know, like, be on dialysis, you know. So it's like all these things actually lead to another thing, you know, because even like with heart disease and what have you, diabetes is another thing that can, you know, be a part of that, you know. So there's so many things that, and then they mimic, you know, all the diseases, the symptoms actually mimic each other, you know. So you really can't, but they are treated differently. So it's kind of really challenging when this is going on. So but you have to listen. I know a friend of mine's mother, she had gastric issues.
Okay.
And they had no clue that it was actually her heart. You know?
Okay.
So she was in the hospital at that point, and they were doing a battery of tests. But by the time they realized it was the heart, she had a heart attack. and then she died.
But a lot of times, if you think about it, the heart's pumping blood, and oxygen all through our body, and if that's not being pumped properly, then what other kind of systems would not be,
Exactly.
operating at optimal
level? No,
levels?
without a doubt, and that's the challenge, because that's why you got to make sure you have the right things in terms of be very proactive in what you're putting into your body.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
you will put yourself at harm's way. And unfortunately, a lot of the chemicals that we are putting into our body are causing a lot of these
problems.
issues, So it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't know that this is why this is occurring. So we're living and just enjoying life.
Right, and think that is fine. Oh, so what? I take an occasional cigarette or smoke or drink heavy. It's fine.
Yeah.
They think it's fine, but then when things happen, I got to die of something.
I know. That's basically it. They say, oh well, I gotta go. It's okay, And I'm like, yeah, you can. Everybody has to go with something, but you know what?
Why do I have to go first? I mean, why do I have to go now?
Well,
why do I? Because look at Jack LaLanne.
I know, right?
How old was he? And look at his contemporaries and where they were. Because he decided to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
He didn't decide that, I got to die of something. He says, no, I'm going to live for something, not die for something.
This is true. Well, people they're believing the hype, okay? So it's there, we might as well enjoy it. So all the sugar, all the bad things, all the synthetic foods, the GMOs, people I was reading on the Facebook, okay, because there's so much more awareness now, but there's still so many people that don't have that awareness. So there's what's wrong with GMOs? Well,
do you even know what GMOs is?
Well,
no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they're like, it is making food better for us. There's more food for you, just because they genetically modify it, but that modification is not real, and that's what they don't understand. And when it's something that's not real, your body doesn't want to accept it. So then it's going to cause a disease. It's going to cause a harmful reaction in your body. It's causing immune systems to react and do things. Your heart starts to work harder. Things start to have to do more, overcompensate to do more. So that's the big challenge.
Right.
So people don't understand this, and it's so sad. And you know what? I was there. I didn't understand it. I'm just eating all those processed foods and wondering why my body is not functioning
properly
at the optimum level, and why I keep on gaining weight, and why
It's I'm on camera, but I'm going to say it's designed. It's not designed to keep you away from the doctors.
No, it's just, it's designed to keep you in the medical, offices, and in the hospitals, and on the pills, and we have insurance, and
to keep them all. They all work hand in hand. They say that they do not, but they all work hand in hand to keep each other rich.
It's sad. So we are going to talk about a little more information. I found about the stroke. I found my little card because I did write it down, but I was like, okay. So there's ischemic and hemorrhagic, strokes, and the ischemic it occurs when a blood vessel that feeds the brain gets blocked, and it's usually like some kind of blood clot, and the part of the brain actually ends up dying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's when you have that challenge, then you lose part of your functions or whatever.
And stuff.
Yeah. So that's ischemic. And then they have the hemorrhagic stroke, which is actually a blood vessel that actually just, I guess,
Breaks
bursts.
or bursts,
Yeah,
okay.
it bursts. And it usually it's usually caused by hypertension, uncontrolled hypertension. So, when people say, oh, we could have stroked out, with your blood pressure being so high, that's because of high hypertension that's not controlled, because I had hypertension, but it was controlled by medication,
Okay.
But now I don't have hypertension anymore because it's been controlled by my diet, and that's what you do. Oops.
Remember to spin.
Okay. So we're going to actually go on a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. Okay? We'll be right back. Whoops. There you go.
1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just wanted to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
Nos afecta a todos.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
we're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia. And it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Hi, welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, and I'm Dee, and I have my friend Theta here today, and we've been talking about heart disease, and then we go off on tangents. But right now, you're laughing at me. But hey
there,
we're back. So we were going to be talking still about some more heart disease. I found some of my notes that I actually prepared for. I tried to prepare a little bit. So we were talking about cardiovascular and heart disease and stroke and why certain things are happening. And so much information that's out there, pulmonary disease and atherosclerosis. And then we have the risk. What about the risks? Who is at risk?
Well, they say that people who are 82% who are 65 years and older, who are men, are at risk, and also women. Well, actually, as the age increases from men 45 to 50, and in women's age 60 to 65.
Right.
So that's why I find that a lot of women outlive their husbands.
Yeah.
A lot of times you do see that it's because of certain situations like that. But they said 82%, 65 and older, they die of this type of some sort of heart disease.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I know my grandfather. Okay. Now, my grandfather on my mama's side, he had gone to the doctor probably a week prior to him dying.
Oh, really? And what they say when he went to the doctor?
He was fine. He was doing really good.
The doctor said that you're fine.
No, he was doing good.
Okay.
And so a week later, he ended up having a massive heart attack and dying. Yeah. He actually had lost his wife a year before. And so, it's so insidious that you really don't ever know that it's even going to happen. So, and he was probably about, I guess, in his 60s, about 65, 66, something like that. And he just fell out in the middle of the street coming home from Christmas night.
Wow.
Dinner.
But you know what I find that a lot of times the doctors do not tell you anything if you're not at that rate, if you're not at that border. Like, for example, we all have cancer. And if your cancer levels are at a certain point, they say, oh, you're fine, until you hit that point, and then they say, okay, now you have cancer. Like, for example, this is just off to another little thing. I never knew that I had fibroids. And so then the doctor, he just mentioned, I said, wait a minute, how long have I had fibroids? He said, oh, you had, I said, when was you going to tell me that? He said, well, because they're not at a certain point. I said, well, I would like to know what's going on with my body, but it's not at a certain point that we have.
It's not significant enough
right,
to
for me
even
to
discuss
tell you
it
that
at this
until it
point.
gets to a certain point, and then No, I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you. It's well, at that point they said he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But because I guess he wasn't.
Right.
But also heart disease is just so not always that apparent. You really not necessarily going to be able to see heart disease. You know, if you go to, I have a call. It didn't ring. We're having challenges with our phone. So if you do want to call, you need to call 917-579-5221. That's 917-579-5221. You can share, and we would love to have you call us and share in our conversation and add to it, because we can always have more. But now, what else was I saying? Please tell me.
You were talking about your grandfather
Mm-hmm.
who had the heart disease, and he had went to the doctor previously, and they said there was nothing wrong with him, and then he deceased the next week.
Okay, I think we have actually a call. Hi, welcome to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. Who do we have on the phone? Wait a minute, hold on. We're having challenges here. Oh, wait a minute, I know. What, now talk?
All right. My name is Charles, and I've been watching your show for a while now. And I've got some information from some people about the cancer show you're watching. I just tuned in. I'm trying to get a handle on what it is. So could you help me repeat with some of those things you've been saying about why men are at risk?
Oh, with heart disease?
Yes.
Okay, well, at this point, we were saying that in terms of the inactivity of people's and your food, smoking,
alcohol,
your
diet.
What else? Oh, also
high blood pressure, hypertension.
I never really smoked, and that's one thing I am proud of, but I do drink a lot, and I'm worried. The amount of wine that someone consumes over a week, is that something that should be looked at and maybe brought down a little bit, or?
wine. Well, you know what it is. Okay, alcohol is bad for you. Okay, even though there's some trains of thought that alcohol is good, and a little bit of wine is not an issue, what have you. But for some alcohol is very toxic to the liver, so it can be really, 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 very, very challenging, and it's.
Well, basically,
you know what? Yeah, go.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
Basically, how is the liquor prepared? Does it have a lot of chemicals, or is it top shelf? I wouldn't say to drink a lot of it, but if you drink a lot of alcohol that especially has chemicals in it, that's going to take you into the grave faster than if you had top shelf liquor that was prepared without chemicals. I'm not advocating you drink a lot of alcohol anyway.
Well, the thing is, in terms of heart disease, excuse me?
I was basically saying I recently went to the doctor. They said the bilirubin was high because of something like that. That's what's concerning me.
Okay, so that's the liver. Mm-hmm. So that's what that's what we're talking about in terms of alcohol. It's all interrelated. Anything that you're putting that's synthetic is going to create a reaction. And at this point, if you're having challenges with your bilirubin, that means, and that also will relate to your heart and all your functions, your body's not working at its optimum. Mm-hmm. So you have to really look at what you're putting into your body. So that's including alcohol, in your activity, your diet, your food intake, your synthetic processed foods, GMOs we were talking about earlier, anything that can be put into your body that's not actually real. and that's going to create a problem, and your blood flow can cause the clotting, because what we're talking about is the heart disease. So the heart disease is when your vessels actually get very hard and full with plaque, and they get blocked, and it causes a lot of challenges.
Right.
You know, so you have to be really very proactive if you want to live a long, healthy, productive life. With the best integrity. You really have to, be. You can have occasional, but if you don't need it, I enjoy taking supplements that, they taste like alcohol. They don't have a whole lot of, give me that euphoria, but it gives me enough that makes me feel good, and I'm happy with what I'm drinking. And I get euphoria from other things, It's just being living.
My friend Chet is here. He wanted to ask you a question. He's a smoker. Oh, come here.
Oh. A smoker.
Oh, smoker.
I smoked for 30. I smoked for 30 years. Okay. But what's your question, young? What's your name, first of all?
I smoked, younger when I was cigarettes, lots of that, cigars. Now, regular tobacco pipe. And somebody say you can get cancer in the mouth, something like that, tobacco pipe. Now, I'm just trying to find out what I could use that's not. It's not going to get any that much harm done to me. I'm sure there's some harm, but not that much harm.
Well, no, let me tell you, that's intense, okay? Because we actually, Theda and I both are using like beverages that actually help with those type of addictions and stuff like that. And it will help you, come off of that. Can you hold on 1 second? We have another call, okay?
Hold on.
Okay. Hello, we have another call. Can you hold on, please?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, you have a question regarding the smoking, or well, you know what? What I can suggest you do is call us when we're off the air, and we can discuss some more information with you regarding helping with your addictions.
I guess it would be an addiction. I'll give you a call off the air. You asking?
Yeah, because right now we're going to finish talking about heart disease, but in terms of some other things we can share with you.
All right. Same number I'm taking.
Yes. Okay.
Talk to you then.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Hello?
Hello?
How you doing? Welcome to Passion for Life.
Good.
I think I know who this is.
God, you're so popular I can't even get through to get my little tidbits.
Oh, really?
Well, so, it's the body mechanic, the shy body mechanic.
Well, I'm so glad you called. How are you doing today?
I'm good. So what is the topic tonight, Dee?
Well, we're talking about heart disease. So we were sharing about strokes, and we were talking about how, atherosclerosis and the hardening of the arteries, and we had gone into the fact that some of the risk factors of it, and and how we can perhaps, we didn't really get into the fact about what we could do to prevent it. So perhaps you can share with that.
Well, just to share a little insight, something that, people probably aware of but might have forgotten. What's funny is that, the heart disease doesn't usually happen when people are young, because I'll use these terms, which is not common in industry. We are basically sodium creatures. What I mean by that, when we're inside of our mothers, the amniotic sac is loaded with different types of sodium minerals. And as we get once we're born, as we get older, we become deficient in those minerals. And believe it or not, what helps to maintain the balance of the blood and the heart function, the connection between the brain and the peripheral units like the arms, the legs, and other organs in the body, is having the proper balance of different types of salt minerals in the body. As we become depleted in those things, then we start to have what we call dis-ease, D-I-S, E-A-S-E, or disease is the term that we use, and the body starts to falter. So, the best way as a preventive measure is to get back to the basics. Now, most of us in the Western communities are taught by our doctors or told that sodium is actually very bad for you. But it's quite the contrary, because you know this as well as I do, Mr. Biologist, that when we go to the hospital, one of the first things that they put most of the Americans on, first of all, most of them are dehydrated, and the reason why we are suffering from dehydration is because we don't have enough sodium components to balance water in our bodies.
Yeah.
If we do not have those sodium components, when we drink lots of water, it will not stay in the body. You understand that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, getting back to the basics, what is the best way to get those sodium minerals into the body? One of the things that we do know is that plants and human cells have a very similar pH, which is 6.4, 6.5. Now, soil is rich with minerals, but the only thing is the soil has to convert those minerals into organic forms, and the way that's done is by different live bacteria in the soil which convert those minerals. Then the plants absorb them, and then we eat those plants. So the quickest way or the best way to rebalance the body or to fight heart disease is to actually consume copious amounts of vegetables. That is the best way to fight it. So it's based on diet.
Right. Well, that's why we're feeling so healthy right now, because we've been eating nothing but vegetables
and fruits.
and fruit, you know. And
But Dee, you know firsthand, because you know of your journey with health and different things that are going on. And just recently, I'm pretty sure you've shared with the audience what you've done to kind of resurrect yourself and to get you going in the right direction. And you can share with them that you've been eating real and whole foods. Is that
exactly,
correct?
without a doubt. And that's what's, you know, it's made such a big difference in our lives right now, in my life and as well as Dita's, because we're both doing the same journey. And what's happening is just that it has made our bodies function so much better at this point. And it's just look better, feel better, and, you know, live better. So life's good, very good.
So,
exactly.
Right, so more importantly, what happens is just basically getting back to the basics.
Exactly.
Because when we go see a Western doctor, and I'm not knocking Western medicine, of course it has its place in the health regimen, but the deal is, you know, it's not about cutting organs out and putting you on pill regimens that never allow your body to actually find homeostasis. You understand these terms. So what do? We get back to the basics. We start with our soil. We start consuming more vegetables. Now, we've been told that, you know, people have problems digesting raw vegetables and you have to worry about bacteria and all these things, so you should cook them. But you know that as well as I do, when you take plants, you put them in water and you boil them, what do you do to the nutrients in the plant?
You kill it.
Yeah, you saturate everything, and it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
So you really do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the reason why they say that is because when we have weakened, when we're deficient in minerals in our body, we don't have proper digestion. So most Americans are suffering from malnutrition.
Right.
Because when they actually ingest these foods, their stomach acids are not breaking the foods down.
Right. Well,
so we have half of America with acid reflux, because if the body can't drop the acidity in the stomach low enough, the body will do reverse peristalsis and send it back up through your, into your mouth, back up your throat.
No, it's true, because you're right, because I know I suffered with that until I started my journey a couple years back when I started losing weight again, and actually the natural beverages that we started using and what have you, then I have not suffered with any acid reflux any longer. And then right now I just came off of blood pressure medicine, so it's amazing because my body is now working more optimally because of the journey that we've been doing, and by eating the whole foods and getting rid of all the GMOs and the pesticides and the processed foods.
It's
you know,
really
because
simple.
yeah,
You know, like I know that you're talking about heart disease, you're talking about hypertension, but the deal is all of these pathologies are actually linked. But what happens is when you take the Western philosophies, they take and they chase symptoms, we never get to the core problem. The core problem is mineral deficiency. But as we start to eat these whole foods, and when you mean by whole food, like a plant just doesn't have potassium in it. It has potassium, it has magnesium, it has iron, it has zinc, because all these things have a symbiotic relationship. They work together. If you give someone a pill with an isolated constituent, it never fixes the problem. It may reduce that symptom, but it doesn't heal the body.
No.
Whole foods heal the body.
Exactly.
Then you see things like, then you see things like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, all this stuff starts to diminish. It's very simple.
Yeah. You have to treat your body the correct way, and your body will heal itself. And that's what people don't understand. You know, if you continue putting bad things into your body is just going to continue to create, it's going to do bad. Well, it's not doing bad. It's doing what it's supposed to do, but it can't fight all those battles and those wars, as Miss Theda has brought up previously.
Right,
and there's too many things. So
it needs all the components.
Yeah.
It needs all the components. It's like taking a car, you know, and not putting water in the radiator, just giving it gas and no oil, and expecting the car to go 10,000 miles. It's not going to work that way.
No.
It needs all of its components.
Yeah.
And when we start doing that on a regular basis, all these pathologies that have been deemed by Western medicine will start to slowly diminish. It's really that simple.
And it has. You know, we actually are examples of that, you know, because I know that we are definitely, I know myself and Theda are like doing our thing and feel 100% better.
1,000% better.
And you both look spectacular. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about it. Since you started, not only have you trimmed down, but your skin is changing, you sleep better, so many things start to fall into place, back to the way it was when you were younger.
Yeah.
That's what happens. We are loaded with these minerals when we're young, but as we get older and our diets are deficient, we slowly start to fall apart. But the body is capable of healing itself. You just have to meet it halfway. It's really simple.
And allow it to do so.
Huh?
Go ahead. And allow it to do so. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, because at this point, go ahead. What?
But you know what it is? You know, when we go see a doctor, first of all, time is used against us, and everybody wants a quick fix. Everybody's living outside of their time zone. So it takes a long time to become sick, so it will take time to recover. It's really simple. It starts with one meal a day, starting to eat the right things. You know?
Well,
it's
definitely.
not an easy road back, but it just takes commitment.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you make your mind up, and that's the most important thing. You have to be ready to do it. And because I know that a lot of people, they want to do it, but then they're not quite ready. And so they just keep on doing what they were taught to do. So unfortunately, but when your body breaks down enough, people have to realize that they have to get ready. This is the only way to do it, is to go with the natural, get off the processed foods, get off the sugar, get off all the you know, and you know what? You backslide a little bit, you know, because I know occasionally you do. You know, it's just like human nature, unfortunately. But then you just get back and do what you're supposed to do, and it will be okay, you know. And as long as you don't kind of like all the way go back, you know, just take it and then move on, and don't beat yourself up.
Well, you know, I know you only have a few seconds left. So just in closing, it's like this. Once your body becomes addicted to toxic substances, even those substances in your body, as they linger, will try to keep their presence there. And that's where the cravings come in. But the more you feed good things to your body, those cravings become less and less, and eventually they diminish.
That's true.
So it's a war. It's what it boils down to.
Well, you know,
balance.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what? It's like it can always, it's so easy to just go back, you know. So you have to, you know, especially when you know it's kind of good.
Because it's so prevalent all around you. It's cheaper to eat bad than to eat good.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
You know,
and
well, look what you have against you. In the industries of food, you have these people that have all the money. They have money to have the best researchers, the best scientists working on their behalf, designing foods that are designed to addict you. It's really simple. But once you understand these things, then you can fight back because it's a war of the mind. That's all it is.
This is
That's all
true.
it is. You know, I know I tried to make it simple, but you know, it's once you start that path, you start feeling good. That's the place where you want to be. And when you start giving your body natural foods, it's going to start to crave the good stuff. That's
Yeah.
really what it boils down to.
And you know what? It's true
Yeah,
because I know
definitely
I was
true.
eating my salad today, and I was like, wow, this salad is actually really really good. And it was what I had: red peppers, celery, onions, and some other stuff. I don't know, but it was really good. I was like, okay, this is not bad. And I ate it all. I had a big plate. And it just cleans you out. So it's actually, we've been doing good. We were even in California, and
I refuse to touch any of it. Smelled it, didn't want it. Sorry.
And I know you lost weight, and I lost weight while I was away, you know. So it was really, really, really good, you know.
Yeah.
So life has been a lot challenging, but I just want people to get better because right now, in terms of the heart disease, and it's so prevalent, and our young people are even getting exposed to it, and you know, you're talking teenagers and 20-year-olds and what have 30 years old and having heart attacks because they have blocked veins and arteries and because they're all carotid and they're hardened because of all the processed foods that they're having, you know, and they don't know better because their parents, they've been...
Well, it absolutely makes no sense. And I know that you have to go shortly. So,
we have like
closing,
2 minutes.
In closing, you just have to start. And education is the key, and your show is putting great information out there. Just keep up the good work. It's really awesome. And thanks for taking my call. And I'm excited about the things that you're bringing. I mean, the general population, everyone needs this information. So kudos to you, and congratulations on your success also, and Peter's success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for calling in, and we really appreciate all the information that you always share with us. And we're looking forward to seeing your new shows and your information sharing.
No problem.
Okay.
It was great hearing you.
We're all light workers, and I love you all.
Yeah, we love you too.
Yes.
Okay, ciao.
Okay, take care. Thanks.
Bye.
So, Theda.
Yes, my dear.
We're almost done for another show, and we still probably will have to talk about some more next week because we didn't get into, you know, like a few things that I wanted to share. So we'll talk about it a little bit more, you know, and because there's so many different, like we touched on pulmonary and we touched on a couple other things. So we're going to have to like revisit this because it's such a big topic. And it's very important, so we'll definitely do that. So, anyway, in closing, I want to thank everybody for coming out and talking and listening and learning, and hopefully that you will keep on watching our show and supporting us. And we want to just give you the information and call in and get healthy. You know, that's important to us. Be educated and be healthy. So thank you again, Passion for Life. Next week, we'll be here. Good night.